Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reddit Asks Us podcast. Um, you know what, guys? Before we really get into anything today, there's just some personal matters that are kind of going on in my life right now, and I'm gonna be fine, but it's kind of I'm just gonna need a little bit of time to kind of deal with some things right now. So I will put out a full episode um, at a later time because I know you guys will want your weekly content. But for this week, I'm still gonna read you guys some comments, but this episode is gonna be much shorter, and I don't really think I'm gonna say much. I think I'm just gonna read off a couple comments. Hopefully, you guys find that entertaining for however long this will take. Maybe, uh, 5-10 minutes or something. I didn't want to leave you guys with nothing, but at the same time, I really don't think I can approach this week's episode with much enthusiasm or much to really provide on my end, so I apologize for that, everybody. But if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, make sure to leave a rating and review. And if you've sorry guys, leave us a rating and review. I don't even know what I say after this. I'm sorry. I'll just get into it. So today's shorter episode is what's one secret you and a parent have kept from your other parent? So the first commenter here, TK Money, says, and this one was awarded too. When I was 10, my older brother, 12, was bullied in middle school because we were poor and we wore Payless our entire lives. He fought back one day and was suspended from school. When my mom asked what happened, he didn't want to hurt her feelings, so he lied. I told her what happened, and she started to cry. The next day, she took us to a shoe store and bought us all three boys Nikes, which were very expensive. I think the Ken Griffey's. She made us promise not to tell our dad, and if he asked, they were super cheap and on sale. She bought us Nikes 2 times a school year, even though they were way out of our budget, because she didn't want us to feel shitty at school. I love you, Mom. That's a really nice one. Next one we've got here is from, this one's good. Altaphrodite. My dad loves it when he finds change on the ground while traveling overseas. One day, he and I were walking behind my mom in an alleyway in Amsterdam, and he was elated because he kept finding euros laying around. Years later, my mom told me that she had been the one secretly dropping coins on the ground as she walked, so he'd be happy when he found them. He still doesn't know. That's very cute. I like that. That's the type of relationship that I want to aspire to have, right? So the next one is from user of the state. My dad grew up pretty rich, but was the youngest of 13, so by the time he came of age, there wasn't much for him. No big deal. He worked his way through college, and in the 80s, back when that was doable, and that's where he met my mom. My mother grew up inching on the poverty line, and so when it was time for the wedding, my dad apparently really, really wanted her to pick absolutely any wedding dress on earth that she wanted, no matter the cost. My mom, having a tighter understanding of money, bought one that had already been worn. She apparently never told him that. They're both in their 50s, and and made me swear to never tell him either. That's really nice. I love these sorts of uplifting stories. Stories about people's relationships. It's nice to hear. So the next one we have is from user at CrankyJack98. When I broke up with my wife, my mom took it very badly. When I broke up with my wife, my mom took it very badly. I was sofa surfing, had no money, and asked her for help. She refused, saying I was man enough to decide to leave. I should be man enough to take care of my own problems after I'd left. I was so low, sad, depressed, anxious, and full of guilt. My stepdad, who I'd never been close to, called and asked to meet me for a drink in the pub. Once there, he gave me an envelope of cash and said it would be enough to put down a deposit on a flat to rent and get myself sorted. I asked why he was doing this, and his reply has always stayed with me. You've fallen, and I will not see you fall any farther. I cried like the man-child that I still was at that point, and he said, all I ask is you to learn, grow, and when this is over and everyone has moved on, make sure you're the better man from it. He gave me a big hug, which was so out of character for him, and then he smiled and winked. Don't tell your mom. I kept that secret until after he passed away. That's a nice story too. People in your life sometimes will surprise you by how much they can have an impact in your life and help you when you need someone to be there for you. You're never really alone. You have people there who care and love you and want to see you succeed, and it's great to be thankful for those people in your life and to try to make an effort to let those people know that you appreciate them, and that lots of times the smallest things that people do, just being who they are, can really change your life and really help you to have motivation and to be, I wouldn't say a better person, but to have faith in your life and have a sense of feeling that you're loved and cared for and that people genuinely want to see you succeed. That's nice. This one comes from user Edgar Pickle. I rented Mike Tyson's Punch-Out when I was in the 7th grade and kept it out until I owed $47. My mom slipped me the money to pay it off so my dad wouldn't go crazy about the money, which was a lot of money for us back then. If he found out, he would have prohibited me from renting games for a while. I don't think he knows about it even till now. Yeah, it's renting games, I feel like, is not really much of a thing anymore. So I remember when you rented DVDs, because I never really played video games, but when you rented DVDs, if you kept it longer, they would charge you money for it. And yeah, I do remember a couple of my friends got dinged for that. This one comes from user Words. When I was 8, I was helping my dad put up Christmas lights on the 2nd floor roof. This was the 80s. Safety didn't exist yet. He told me to get another strand, and I walked to the edge of the roof was pretty flat, and I straight up slipped and fell off the roof and landed on the picnic table on the ground floor. My dad had no idea that I fell off until I yelled back, "I'm okay." He made me swear that I'd never tell my mom, and that was the last year we ever put up Christmas lights on the roof. Yeah, I'm guessing there was probably maybe some ice on the roof or something. And to fall, even if it was like a 1-story house, it's quite the fall, especially for a kid. Okay, guys. I think this might be my last one. Or is it? Okay. I'll read this last one here. So this one comes from user Little Irish Pixie. I don't know if I want to know what that username means. I came from a super strict religious household where I wasn't allowed to watch about 99% of what my classmates were watching. I thought the reins would loosen a little bit when I was in high school, but they really didn't. I was pretty miserable. When I was a high school senior, South Park was pretty big, and I hated that all my friends were watching it and I never got any of the references. My dad thought it was hysterical and thought my mom's rules were dumb, but kind of went with it anyways. However, South Park came on after my mom was already asleep, so that became our thing. on South Park nights. My dad and I would stay up and watch it together. We did this my whole senior year, and even my first few years when I came home from college on the breaks. Yes, the same rules were still in place then. It was kind of a silly little secret, but those are some of the best times with my dad, just laughing and catching up during commercials. Excuse me, sorry. That's a really nice story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so like I said, I didn't want to leave you guys with nothing today, and I'm sorry for the low energy on the podcast, but I'm dealing with some personal things right now, so thank you guys for tuning in, and before we go, I also want to say that I'm really appreciative of all of the people who have been listening to the show consistently every week. It's honestly pretty fucking remarkable, because for a while there, I didn't really check my analytics when I would go into, because I produce my show through Anchor, and I would go through my I was a while there where I didn't really go through my analytics. I was kind of just busy in producing the show, and I was starting up a new show that I do with my friends where we talk about basketball, and I kind of logged back in on my Anchor profile and saw that my audience size had kind of gone up by like 10 people, and that is truly, truly remarkable to say, and to see that this many people have been tuning into the show every week. I think my audience size is about 60 right now, which is just, it's weird. It's a weird feeling, because I never really thought that people would actually want to tune into the show consistently every week and enjoy listening to it. I want to give a shout out to and maybe I'll shout you out on the next podcast at the beginning of the podcast, because this one is a little bit long, or a little bit different. But I want to give a shout out to Nate Brown, who came to my live stream the other day, because he had told me he found the show last week, and that he'd been kind of binging all the episodes, and he said some very nice, encouraging words and some very appreciative things to me that I personally want to single you out and shout you out for listening to the show and for being a supporter and having faith in the show, because it's something that I really am passionate about and really enjoy doing, and it's nice to hear some of that feedback, and it's so cool to see somebody who found the show and enjoys listening to it and wants to kind of let me know that they like it, which is just crazy. It's crazy to think about. So I'm very thankful for you guys, and I really hope that this show does make your week a little bit easier to go through. Thank you guys a lot. You guys are really important to me. I really appreciate the fact that you guys tune in every single week and listen to me talk. It's very nice. So, without further ado, I'm going to sign off for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm going to have some content for you guys probably later this week. As like a bonus episode maybe or something, but who knows? Maybe I might just wait till next week. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.